Good morning, everyone. Really quickly, I've got a short topic that I want to just cover this morning. And it all goes back to our skill and our practice. And so, what I want to ask us right now is how often, how much are we practicing our skill, our craft, our talent, right? And this livelihood or this area for livelihood in which we practice or which we perform on a daily basis. And the reason I ask this is because much like the great performers or the highest achievers in any industry, just in the world, I do believe that unless we hone our craft, unless we intentionally seek to get better, then we will get worse. I don't think that there is such a thing as staying the same, especially in this competitive industry and in the world with the advancements happening as fast as they do. Now, on that, I'm going to, a lot of it is going to sound like a broken record. I'm going to go back and start asking questions, such as when was the last time you went through the LP Mama location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, and then appointment? If you aren't running through these basic beginner level type things, at least weekly, then there is a risk for us when the opportunity comes, when it's showtime and the lights are on and money is on the line, then we might find ourselves failing to do and to execute at a high level. When was the last time you practiced your buyer consultation? When instead of just going through the LP Mama script on the phone or via text, when was the last time you practiced a buyer consultation when you had someone sit down, another agent or a family member, a friend, or even myself sit down with you and you walk us through your buyer consultation? Has your buyer consultation had to change? Have you practiced your buyer consultation via Zoom? If you have not, chances are when the time comes, you're going to fumble through. Do you have an electronic format or process for your buyer consultation or your marketing consultation or listing presentation, whatever you want to call it? And the reason I ask is because what we in this industry, the mistake that we make is that we call ourselves professionals, but then we execute at an amateur level. Why? Because we didn't put the practice time in to be truly professional. When was the last time that you or I, let's just say we, to make it easier and shorter, when was the last time that we looked at our contracts? Can we identify the line for the inspection days on a crisp contract or an as is? Do we know what the financing contingencies are, or compared to the appraisal contingency? Can we quickly determine, who paid for title, buyer, seller, the Miami-Dade and Broward provision? Or has it been so long that when you get a contract, you have to see how many pages there are in the contract? How many pages does a crisp contract have versus an as is? If you don't know right off, I'm going to challenge you today to go in, get back to practicing, increase your skill level, because the worst thing that can happen is for us to have an opportunity and then not be prepared for that opportunity when it comes. Now, I am also, when we just talk about skill, and practicing, on that, how often do you practice your communication? And I'm not only referring to communication in the listing or with buyers. I'm not talking about communication when it comes to contracts or offers. I'm talking about communication in general. How concise are your words? Are you using the right words? Are you familiar with the terminology that we should be using in our industry? Are we using words in the proper context? Or do we think we have an understanding and then we hear it and I say, I don't know. I don't think that's where it's supposed to go. All of these are areas that I'm going to ask us to get better at, to put more time into, to pay more attention to during this next week. And I'm a firm believer that if we are mindful and watchful of how we execute and what we do this next week, then over the next 2 weeks and over the next month, we'll see a greater return on the investment of time and practice that we've made. A great book when it comes to communicating, I believe there are a couple. The first one is a newer book. It is Everyone Communicates, Few Connect by Dr. John C. Maxwell. It is talking or coming from a spiritual, it has spiritual aspects in it with his faith beliefs in there, but talks about the value of how to connect with people, not just communicate, but how to form and create a connection. And then the next one is by Dale Carnegie. It's a much more archaic book. It's written in older English, and it is The Art of Public Speaking. It's one of my favorite books that I go back and I use it as a reference book, not just as a once read, because whether you are on stage or on a platform, whether you're speaking to hundreds of thousands or to one person, the skills and the techniques that I believe Dale Carnegie shares in there are going to be valuable, especially since we all are public speakers. We speak in public. If you talk to someone outside of your house, guess what you just did? You just publicly spoke. Think about that for a moment. So those are the two things that I wanted to share. Think about our skill, the time that we're putting into our craft to get better, and then how effectively are we communicating? Have you practiced your buyer consultation, marketing consultation via Zoom? If you have not, or whatever video format that we're using right now, if we have not, then you are in trouble. Get on that today. And until the next time we chat, don't be average. Be world renowned. Peace.